All right, here we go. You know what time it is? It is Monday Night Live, Big Picture Live. Boy, we got a lot to cover tonight. Go ahead and smash that like button. Start sharing this, inviting people to join the Big Picture family. Because we've been invaded. You already knew it, but it's going to another level, and they're trying to change the narrative on us. World War III has already begun. It's not coming. Chaotic weather, mess going on all over the world. That's why you need to know the big picture. And that's why we're here. We're going to break down the news of the day. Let's go. Come on. Big Picture Live. All right, we're going to bring in the Queen right now. She is with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love.
Hello.
For the Queen.
It's good to be back.
The Queen. I got a friend that we used to call him the King when he walked in, and he said, I'm not the king, I'm the Kang. And he might be watching. If the Kang is watching, welcome in, Kang. But
so
I'm not going to call you the Queen.
So very important for us to know that.
It's life-changing information. What are you doing? What?
Those are some peaceful tones to get us started off tonight. Because it's going to be such a stressful night, probably. No, my real...
We don't need no peaceful...
The real remedy for that is this.
Yes, there you go.
For those cleansing prayers at the close of the weekly
we believe in praying
news show, right?
The anointing...
That's right.
...shall break the yoke.
No, I found this thing laying around, and I thought I would bring it in.
It's a joke. We don't.
Yeah, obviously we're not New Age.
No, we don't do that. It's a joke.
I really don't know if this is a completely New Age thing. It's a tongue drum, and it makes cool sounds and tones. And no, I don't know how to play it or what I'm doing, but it was laying around, so I thought I would bring it in.
That's the first and the last time that will ever be on this show.
Ever?
Ever.
Ever?
Ever.
Ever.
All right, so welcome in to the big picture.
Yes,
boy, we got a lot of ground to cover tonight. Let's go ahead and smash that like button. Pardon my wife while she unloads her props.
Make some noise over here.
Yeah, but smash the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. You're watching on YouTube tonight. Smash that like button. Yes. Subscribe. You're watching on Rumble. We just want to say, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
If you don't follow us on Rumble, our Rumble channel is growing by leaps and bounds, y'all.
So thankful
for it. The Big Picture family is growing on Rumble. Rumble.com/Larry Ragland. If you haven't already followed us there, go ahead and do that.
It's so exciting.
Look, somebody says you are so talented, Sandy.
Thank you. I was actually maybe going to get some lessons or something. JK.
Yeah, no, we don't need no lessons on that thing. I don't want that thing playing. All right, so tonight, we're heavy tonight on the border. We talk a lot about the border on the big picture, but tonight is especially important because of this so-called border security bill. We're going to break that thing down. That's a joke, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it is a joke. It is not a border security bill.
Yeah.
And we're just going to get right into it. But before we do that, we tried to cover one or two breaking news items that are of the day. And right now, if you live in California, especially in the Los Angeles area, our heart goes out for you. So let's cover this right now. So let's just go ahead and go on in there right now.
Yeah, no need to wait.
Yeah, so Los Angeles area is seeing catastrophic
Can
flooding.
I just say, if you needed another reason to be already packing your bags, hello.
But listen, baby, I know what you're saying, and that's easy for us to say here now.
I know.
We got a lot of people from California that watch us, and they love California.
And we're partly kidding.
We're playing.
It's just a piling on of the things that at least they tell us that are catastrophic that happen in California.
I guess what we're trying to say is if you're in California, you're on a mission. And we appreciate your faithfulness because it takes a lot of faith to stay in California right now. Not just because of the weather, the fires and everything, but because of the government, the restrictions and so forth. So we pray for our California friends.
We love you watchmen that are out there telling us what's going on, keeping us posted. We appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about this. This is a catastrophic flooding as powerful atmospheric river slammed Southern California for another time, the second time, I think, in just a few months.
A couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that the second atmospheric river in 2 to 3 weeks?
I think so, yeah. A dire situation is unfolding in California as dangerous and potentially life-threatening atmospheric river storm continues to slam the state with torrential rain, destructive wind gusts, and catastrophic flash flooding. The National Weather Prediction Center has warned that the ongoing situation will continue to produce locally catastrophic flash and urban flooding in Los Angeles, which remains under a rare high risk of flash flooding. The high risk is the highest rung on the NOAA's flash flood threat scale and is only issued under the most dire of flooding circumstances. The storm has already dumped several inches of rain across the region and has said an additional rainfall of 1 to 3 inches are expected, with locally higher amounts of 5 to 8 inches in parts of Southern California. Landslides, rock slides, mudslides, and high water rescues have already been reported, and has warned that the extremely dangerous situation has been unfolding in the Hollywood Hills and around the Santa Monica.
Did you say at least
Mountains.
one person had lost their life?
I have not said that yet.
I thought I heard that on Fox News earlier today.
I think you are correct on that. It does say that Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency, and the Golden State mobilized and pre-positioned a record 8,500 emergency responders that are ready for flooding, landslide, and travel emergencies. So if you are living in California and you're watching us either on the live or the replay, comment and let us know how you're doing. Let us know that what is the conditions on the ground there. Is this what they call the Pineapple Express?
I think so.
Okay, so you know a little bit more about this than me. So explain to us a little bit about what is an atmospheric river.
Listen, I can't give you a scientific description, and I don't know a ton about it, but this is basically tons and tons of rain that is currently descending on the state of California. And, we've heard of this several years ago in the past, but this is happening more frequently. And these incidences seem to be far more serious. At least this current one seems to be really bad.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Atmospheric rivers occur all over the world, most commonly in the mid-latitudes. They form when large-scale weather patterns align to create narrow channels or filaments of intense moisture transport. So basically, it's like a river, like we know, flowing, but it's above in our atmosphere, full of intense amount of water.
Yeah, it's in the atmosphere, but it decides to come down at a certain point. And sadly, this is on California. And you're talking about areas that get very little rainfall. They're getting a year's worth of rainfall in one event.
But didn't this happen last year too? I mean, this has happened. This is like it becoming an event here.
This has happened, but you're talking about two of these in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks, whereas as opposed to, I don't know how many. It seems like we might have gotten one, not even every year. But here's the point. These weather events and episodes are increasing in intensity, and not just intensity, apparently frequency as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hypotheses about what's going on. We know that there's a lot of activity happening with the sun. It's affecting shifts, possibly very minute shifts of the polar area they believe is already beginning. And
watch yourself.
And, we've had multiple solar flares, things like that. Of course, we know earthquake activity is up, volcanic activity is up. I mean, think about how long we went and didn't see anything but other than the occasional news item about the Kilauea, which is always active. But now we're seeing massive eruptions. There is definitely something atmospheric happening in the ground and above the ground. And to those that read the Word of God, we know that the Bible says there'll be signs in the heavens and the earth beneath. So we really realize that these are actual environmental things that are happening, but there is a spiritual tie to it. Yeah. And I believe the shifting that is happening in the culture is affecting the spirit realm.
Here's
as well.
A very good point from Jesus Freak. Due to atmospheric compression, these storms are capable of holding massive quantities of water. And that's what you're seeing in at least this specific incident. Was it 8 trillion gallons of water that they're saying? Now, how they can estimate that and even make that kind of statement, I don't understand. But let's just say it's a lot of water in a dry area that, is not going to be soaking this up. It's just going to be running right across the landscape in a lot of incidences and causing mudslide in others.
Yeah, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I talk a lot about on this channel in my Wednesday night Bible study, which shameless plug. Let me just go ahead and throw this up here. Every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, we do an in-depth Bible study, and I've been talking a lot about Noah. And Jesus said, as in the days of Noah. think about where I'm going here.
Yes.
In the days of Noah, one of the things about the days of Noah is it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but when that ark lifted up, there was the Bible says the earth opened up and the fountains of the deep were released,
Right.
as well as many theologians believe that it wasn't just rain. There was atmospheric rivers, if you will, just lakes that was above the atmosphere in the firmament, and it was ripped, and massive amounts of water came out. So I know this is localized to California on the West Coast, but it's almost like this is further reminding us to go back and study the days of Noah.
And how multifaceted that statement is, as in the days of Noah.
Yes.
How many things can you apply to it?
Oh, so many.
Woo!
So
Goodness,
many.
look out.
Giants, Nephilim.
Yes. Evil.
Continually.
Men's every thought being evil. Wow.
And now we got, atmospheric rivers. Okay,
exactly.
come on.
Weather events as well.
Well, there's also another breaking news item today that comes out, and we do not rejoice in this by no means. Anybody that ever is diagnosed with an incurable disease, where heart goes out, no matter who they are. We know we have got our own feelings about King Charles, but the reality is this: it's come out today that he's being diagnosed with cancer. Buckingham Palace has said King Charles has been diagnosed with a form of cancer. Listen to the wording of the narrative here.
Exactly.
The type of cancer has not been revealed. It is not prostate cancer. Everybody would have assumed that because, he just had a recent treatment for an enlarged prostate. The king began regular treatments on Monday and will postpone public duties during the treatment. The king is 75, quote, remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible.
Yep.
No further details are being shared on the stage of the stage of cancer or the prognosis. Charles informed both his sons personally about his diagnosis, and the Prince of Wales was said to be in regular contact with his father. The Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, who lives in the United States, spoke to his father and will be traveling to the UK to see him in the coming days. The king returned to London from Norfolk on Monday morning, and the palace says he has started treatment as an outpatient. So your first initial.
Can I just say?
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead and affix my conspiracy tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but something is going on, and it's probably not what they're telling us is going on.
Right. Because, have we not learned that? Have we not learned that seriously?
Okay, if we've got to hear about it, if you're just going to be so continual and so consistent with putting it out there, why can't you go ahead and say what it is?
Yeah, but listen, I'm the one that has to stream all these comments, so I already feel the comments are coming. They're going to say, Sandy, you're joking. You're not taking it serious. This man, no matter he has cancer, you're not being serious about it. I get that. We're not being. Let me finish. We're not being goofy here.
No, we're being very serious. And a matter of fact, if you're watching the news, you're going to hear about this a lot, like over and over and over. So go ahead and pray for the king instead of just getting mad. If he really does have something wrong, I encourage you to pray for him. But to me, it seems like a narrative was forming 1 and 2 weeks ago when we had to know for some weird reason exactly why he was going into the hospital and what treatment he was getting. I'm like, really?
It was
We didn't need to know that. TMI.
Yeah.
And so now we go from that into, well, there's a really big to-do, but shh, we can't talk about it.
Yeah, and automatically, and we won't stay too long on this, but automatically you hear that he has prostate cancer, that he doesn't have prostate cancer, but he was having a procedure on a large prostate.
But it's something really serious.
Yeah, you
whatever it is.
You sort of think it may be prostate cancer. It's like if whatever they tell you, I hate to say it, I hate to be this way about humanity, but I tend to believe the opposite.
Right.
So it's like this. He's 75 years old, and you and I were talking about this earlier. Mm-hmm. The man waited. His mom was almost eternal.
Yes.
Okay, well, how old was she when she died? Queen Elizabeth.
94, 5, something like that, probably.
So he's like, one day I'm going to be king. One day I'm going to be king. Yeah. He's 75, and he finally gets to be king.
Right.
and now this happens.
Yes.
So
And can I just say, if he does have cancer of any form, yes, that is very serious.
Very serious.
And I acknowledge that, which is why I ask you to pray. My problem is I don't necessarily believe that he does. Whatever
Something's
it is,
going on.
I hope it's addressed and that it's, helped and taken care of. But that's why I put my tinfoil hat on. I am a conspiracy theorist, and this whole thing is just weird to me.
Yeah.
Why did we have to come out? Why did they have to come out and us know about the first thing, and then they wait and they tell us, well, there's a serious thing, but we can't tell you what it is.
Yeah, and exactly, and think about all the people that think King Charles is the Antichrist, and there's people that he's very involved in some very demonic things. There's no doubt about it. If you've never watched the Commonwealth Games, you ought to go watch the Commonwealth Games when he was a prince. It was like 2 years ago. I did a video on it. You can find it. The dedication sermon service was unbelievable because they brought in Baal, the god Baal, and worshipped Baal, and he's sitting in the stand. He's the leader of the whole thing. Yeah. So he's very involved in some demonic things.
Well, let's go back to his coronation. There were some things that were kind of strange to us that,
that has nothing to do with what's going on now. We're just suspicious about, you're finally king. And you don't know that the royal family and even England and UK in itself is going to be very protective about image and very protective about what is really going on.
They should be very careful about every aspect.
Yeah.
But it's just
it's just a little suspicious.
It seems like a lot of games are played, and a lot of our emotions and are tugged on, and we're influenced in all kinds of ways that are maybe not sincere sometimes. So that's why I'm a conspiracy theorist and have a lot of questions and doubts.
All right, so let's move on. By the way, before we move on to the border, let me just say thank you to all of our partners.
Yes.
We appreciate everything you do for us. Many of you are partnering with us through our website, through YouTube. We have monthly supporters, $5 a month, to support us through YouTube. All you got to do is click that join button down below. But then many others go to our website, and we'll show you that at the end of the show, where you can become a partner with us, a monthly partner with us. And many of you are mailing those in, and you're doing them online. We appreciate it so much. All right, well, Sandy, what's on everybody's mind right now, and it's been on our mind for a while, is the border. And this week, there is a border bill that is called the border bill. But I'm going to show you right now, it is not a border bill. Look at this headline. This Senate bill, by the way, the House is saying it's dead on arrival, but the Senate bill actually gives Ukraine, in this bill that's called a border security bill, 75 times more funding than it does go towards the U.S. border wall.
I want to know who we need to credit with discovering this and finding this out.
Well, they just read the bill. Somebody just read the bill.
Well,
they wanted to pass it without reading it.
A lot of people don't read the bill is what I'm saying. So I want to thank this person, whoever they are. But wow, what a great example of hiding something.
Yeah. Well, the Senate don't read the bill. I know. Don't you remember Pelosi? We got to pass it before we know what's in it.
Yeah.
But look at this.
Exactly what I'm saying.
A Senate bill would provide a measly $650 million to continue building a border wall, the United States-Mexico border, while Ukraine would be sent $48 billion more. We already give them well over $100 billion. The bill, negotiated by Senators James Lankford, Republican from Oklahoma, Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, and Kristen Sinema, Independent from Arizona, would give Ukraine nearly $50 billion in U.S. tax dollars to defend its borders from Russian invasion. At the same time, the bill spends just $650 million to, quote, build and reinforce miles and miles of a new border wall. That funding is likely to build only a couple of dozen miles of border wall. The little funding for the border wall compared to Ukraine's check comes at a record number of American adults support building the barriers along the border to stem illegal immigration and drug trafficking. Last year, a record 4 in 7 registered American voters, or 57% majority, supported building additional border walls, including 62% of white voters, 49% of Hispanics, and 58% of those earning less than $50,000. So let's go back to this headline, and we got a lot. We got several topics to cover here. Yeah. But 75 times. And by the way, when you really get into the meat and potatoes of this bill, part of that 75 times of funding goes towards the same thing that we covered several months ago here, to propping up retail businesses, helping first responders keep their job, helping the power to stay on, not just military. So it's like, we have people here who can't pay their power bills.
Yes.
We have people here that are freezing to death because they can't. I mean, literally, people are dying when this last winter storm came through here.
Have to be, yeah.
And multiple people died during that cold spell that hit the country. But yet we're sending money to make sure that Ukrainians have electricity, that they can keep their T-shirt shop open on Main
keep
Street.
their business open. Keep your boutique open.
This is real. We're not just making this is really in this bill.
Want them to keep their 401ks up current, right?
That's right. It went towards their retirement.
I'm not laughing. It's a laugh to keep from crying, because we need to be able to take care of our own citizens first, instead of, running all over the world, putting out fires, helping to control things, and having open borders to where we're bringing so many people in here that inevitably we're not going to be able to take care of. Right. So where does that leave all of the immigrants? Maybe they possibly even had something better back home that would have given them a little more security. I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but it's definitely not going to be perfect here either.
Right. And I want you to remember that it was just about 2 or 3 weeks ago that Senator Dick Durbin got on the Senate floor and proposed a bill to help illegal immigrants become citizens by putting them in our military and causing them to serve honorably in our military, and then they would achieve citizenship. Yeah. Then you factor in that 90% of the people that you see coming across the border now has turned into middle-age or military fighting age men.
Young, strong, healthy, like you say, fighting it. Listen, we say it every week. We're going to keep right on saying it. It's true.
It's an invasion. And I'm going to show you a video clip today that's just mind-boggling when you see how these people are coming across, and you see the border agents standing there watching them. Their hands are tied. They can't do anything. But now, look, let's keep moving on here, because we got a lot to dig down into here. Trump said this week that he believes, now this is a former president, and very likely the Republican candidate, no matter what they do to him in the courts, and many people believe probably our next president. I mean, we'll see. But Trump says that he believes wholeheartedly that China itself, the government, is directing flow of Chinese nationals to the United States. Now, he's privy to information that none of us are privy to. Even though he's a former president, he still is a former president. So he is of the highest clearance. And he knows what he heard then, and he knows what he hears now. Former President Donald Trump, who is running for another term in the White House, says he believes that the Chinese Communist Party is directing a surge in Chinese nationals coming to the United States. In an interview exchange on Sunday Morning Futures, showed Trump responding to Fox News anchor Maria Bartiromo, who asked him if he believes the CCP is directing the flow of people from China to the United States, which she noted had increased of late. Yeah. I believe so, quote unquote, Trump replied. And I believe we're going to have a terrorist attack 100%. Let's watch this video clip. Well, thought it was going to work. Let's see if we can watch it on X. Come on. All right, where's the money?
The Chinese are paying $35,000 a head, $50,000 a head to come to the southern border. They're paying the drug cartels this money. The number of Chinese nationals, and they are military-aged men, you're right, up 1,100% year over year. Are they being directed by the Communist Party to come here?
I believe so. I believe so. And I believe we're going to have a terrorist attack 100%. 100%. Wow. You know, during my term, I had no terrorist attacks. You know that, right?
So there'll be saboteurs? What are they?
I had all sorts of bans on people from certain countries. I had bans all over the place. We had no attack. I had nothing in the world.
I understand.
You know, when I was president, I got to learn how to imitate Trump. When I was president, you know, it was perfect. It was perfect. We didn't have any terrorist attacks.
I want to say two things. Number one, I think it was Vic. I want to thank you for that super chat or
super chat.
Super sticker.
I can tell you.
Yeah, roll it down.
Vic Lona, thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Woo!
Number 2, I want to say, if anyone can out there, look this up. I love Marina Bartiromo. Okay, she came from the financial sector.
Yeah.
You know, she
don't play.
She built her career there. She will do a mean interview.
Yeah,
She's
she
a
don't play.
great interviewer. But can someone look up and see, is she a graduate from
I don't think so.
Klaus Schwab's
Maybe I'm wrong. I've been asked that before. I don't think so.
Young World Leaders Program?
I don't think so. I hope I'm
But
right.
I do love her spunk, and I think she's a great interviewer, and she's a great personality for TV for Fox News on that channel. But back to what she was asking Donald Trump and what this article is about. Well, duh. We've seen the footage of nothing but
Right.
a large group
Yeah.
of people from that country. That's right, CJ. The Weffers and the Heifers.
Weffers. Look, more than 24,000 Chinese citizens were apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border in the past year, a number higher than the combined data on apprehensions from the 10 previous years. And it says Texas officials has disseminated figures showing cartels charging individuals from China $35,000 to $50,000 a person to be smuggled into the United States. As many as 10.5 million illegal immigrants were living in the United States in 21. That's in 21. Yeah. So, Sandy, here's my question. If they're charging $35,000 to $50,000 a person from China, the average Chinese population is not wealthy. They're poor. So it just makes sense.
Somebody's sponsoring
yes.
these people to come over here?
Say the Chinese government to have cells inside ready to be activated in the case of a war with China?
All right. Kevin Lemoyne, which I'm glad you're here. Haven't seen you in live in a couple of weeks.
He's been working.
She is a young global leader of the World Economic Forum.
Don't you tell me that, Kevin.
Thank you. And a member. That went up too fast. But thank you for that.
And a member of the economic. Okay, Kevin.
She's part of the CFR
thanks a lot, Kevin.
as well.
I had hope.
Okay.
All right.
We've talked about.
Hey, we still like her.
I still like her, and that's the point.
Yeah.
We've talked about Klaus Schwab and his graduates of the Young Global Leaders Program.
Right. They're everywhere.
If you don't understand already, get this. They are highly placed everywhere.
Say it, baby.
They're
Everywhere.
like sleeper agents.
They really are.
You know, they're probably in Hollywood. They're in politics. They're mostly in politics, but they're probably in the colleges. They're probably in corporations. Why does this matter? Because they're all ultimately going to lead back to the goals and intentions of one Klaus Schwab.
My God, baby. You on fire tonight. You on fire tonight.
I need my coffee.
Get you some coffee. Now, when the stealth invasion of America goes mainstream and nobody cares, think of the wording of this article. This is unbelievable. You know we were in the final stages of an invasion when even the corporate media is reporting on the thousands, catch the words, of Chinese nationals streaming across the U.S. southern border. CBS's 60 Minutes reports that the Chinese-owned social media platform, TikTok, is being used to aid and abet the invasion of America. Chinese are using TikTok to cross the border. Step-by-step instructions for hiring smugglers and detailed directions to that hole we visited. We were struck by just how orderly and routine it seemed. Watch this little clip. Now watch, this is the border wall, and it goes right up against a rock. Conveniently, there's just enough room between the end of the wall and the rock for one person to get through.
We wondered how all of these migrants knew about this particular entryway into California. The answer was in their hands.
How do you know about that? Oh, Douyin, okay, TikTok.
Oh, you learned on TikTok. Yeah. TikTok is a social media platform created in China. The post we found had step-by-step instructions for hiring smugglers and detailed directions to that hole we visited. We were struck by just how orderly and routine it all seemed. The migrants walked about a half-mile down a dirt road and waited in line for U.S. Border Patrol to arrive so they could surrender.
Wow. Well, CBS sort of told the truth. Notice how almost all the Chinese illegals in the above video were men. Most of them, they showed a girl and a little child going through there, but when they showed the shot of the van, it was mostly military-age men.
We should have the clip of the guy who was basically ranting at the border about.
Oh, yeah. You're not smart enough to know who I am.
You're going to know who I am soon.
Yeah. Now, of course, he's from a Muslim country.
Yeah, it looked and sounded Middle Eastern. What? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
They're
matter.
coming from over 140 different countries all over the world. And you know what? He's probably not the only one with that attitude and that story and maybe some evil intention.
And then watch this. It goes on to say, you will not hear the words border invasion in that report by 60 Minutes, of course. But that's exactly what it is. And it's not just Chinese either. These men are coming from the Middle East, parts of Africa, and many other regions, not known for their love and affection for the American people. Compare the above pathetic report from 60 Minutes to this one from Drew Hernandez, giving details about a border encampment. And, of course, he works for Infowars.com, so he ain't scared. And I don't know if that's going to get me flagged, but let's watch a little bit of it.
Group of illegals. They have an entire illegal encampment. We just showed up. They have their campfires going on. And I think they think we're here to pick them up.
They were all Chinese. Every single one of them in the video. Rest of it was a news article, so I'm not going to show that. But they were all Chinese. They were all sitting there. They saw the reporters coming. They all got excited because they thought that was the ones that TikTok told them was going to pick them up. It says, we are the host country for the Statue of Liberty. He calls it a pagan goddess. Bringing your masses and all of that. But here's the thing. That's not what this meant. I saw, and I'm going to butcher this. I know I'm going to butcher it. But I saw a video the other day that said that we have brought more, there's been more illegal aliens come through the border this year, and maybe a part of last year, whatever, than all the ones combined that was processed at Ellis Island. The entire existence of Ellis Island, I think it was last year. In the last year, there was more people talk to border agents and put into our country than was processed the entire existence of Ellis Island.
Yeah, and we went there, so we know.
We've been to Ellis Island, and it was freezing cold.
That's right.
We barely survived.
Couldn't even enjoy my trip. I was so cold.
But, hey, it is what it is. It is an invasion. And now, but I'm going to tell you what else it is. Now, here's where we go down the rabbit hole a little bit, Sandy. All right.
No.
Yeah,
you too?
We're going to go down. You took me down a long time ago. I was eating a biscuit one morning, and I looked down, and inside that biscuit was a red pill.
And you swallowed it.
And I swallowed that red pill, and I said, I've been awakened. But we're talking about Maria Bartoloma, is that her name?
Bartoloma. She's Italian.
Italiana. Oh,
Come on.
I want some pizza. That's amore. But, but, we was talking about the World Economic Forum. But, there's another guy that's really being promoted, is doing a lot of good stuff. And I think he is doing some good stuff. He's also...
Is that a sarcastic he's doing a good
no,
stuff? Or absolute truth he's doing
really
a good
is
stuff?
doing... Well, I'm talking about Governor Greg Abbott. But he is also, from what I understand, a graduate from the World Economic Forum's Young Leaders as well. Somebody can verify that.
And you wonder why I question him.
I know.
Well.
I know. Okay, baby. I know. But look, I saw a video, a drone that went over before the National Guard took it over. What's that place called? Eagle Pass? Is it Eagle Pass? Eagle Pass. Before they took it over, it's just flooded with people. They did a drone yesterday over it, and there's not a single illegal immigrant.
Oh, my goodness.
It's completely empty.
So what do we owe this?
We owe that to the National Guard. But here's the thing, though, Sandy. Here's the rabbit hole.
Oh, there's rabbit holes everywhere.
Everywhere.
What's going on?
Theater.
Of the mind?
Texan shows open gates to the border wall only a half a mile from the razor wall of Eagle Pass. Now, when you see this, I don't know if you've seen this video yet. It's going to blow your mind.
So are you trying to say all that footage of razor wire was theater
stay with me.
of the mind?
Just hang on. Just hang on. If a civil war breaks out, it's not because it's something good to fight over. It's because it's election time. Because the news media is corrupt and you need to turn the TV off. Said a Texan at the border. Since the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 last week to have Texas remove the makeshift razor wall to slow down the flow of illegal immigrants, Texas has remained defiant and has even ordered their National Guard to put up more wire. Of course, it's been on the news everywhere. It goes on to say that on January 26, in an interview with Tucker Carlson, Governor Abbott was asked about the proposals from the White House and Democrats to nationalize the state's National Guard. Abbott said, well, first, I'd be shocked. That would be a bonehead move on his part. Total disaster for one you might imagine. We are prepared in the event that an unlikely event does occur to make sure that we're able to continue exactly what we've been doing. Really big talk. And like I said, so far, he seems like he's at least doing something. My question is, why did you wait till now? You know, if you had the power to do this, why didn't you do it 3 years ago?
Exactly.
But here's the thing. This is just I'm not going to show you this from the interview with Greg. What I want to show you is this guy right here, if I can get down to him, if he's here. I hope I got him. Yeah. All right, so this is a guy that's just a comedian. And I do think there might be 1 or 2 language words in here, so I'm not even going to try to bleep them because I want you to watch the whole thing and understand that I'm doing my best.
Okay. Language words.
Yeah, languages, words. What did I say?
There might be some language words in here.
There might be some. Hey, words are language and language is words. So it was appropriate what I said. Comedian heads to Texas border and finds a few hoes. Now watch this.
What? Half a mile.
How convenient. There's a paved road running right through it.
I know y'all come to my page because of the comedy, and I just play around on here. And I don't get political very often. Sometimes I have some things to say about things. I live in Texas. I was just in Eagle Pass, and I've got some videos I need to show you guys. Because you're watching the news, whether it's CNN or Fox, you're letting these news media idiots get you riled up against each other. Let me show you some videos that might just calm your ass down and make you turn off the TV.
Calm your donkey down.
All right, so this
King James Version.
The wall, you know, the fence that we put up.
That's what you see on
and
the
they
news.
put up a secondary fence because they opened the gates. There's some armed guards with some pretty serious weaponry. You know, pretty intimidating, right? Here's your razor wire in between the 2 bridges that are in the entrances into Mexico and also the entrance to Eagle Pass. There's some Hummers, some more guys, right? We're protecting, you know, we're keeping them out. This is 0.5 miles.
A half a mile.
From that area. 0.5 miles from where they set up their cameras. 0.5 miles from where they have all the people there. And it's right down the road. I left this long to show you just how short of a drive it is for us to get to a point where all that we just saw does not matter. And they're just getting you riled up against each other because it's election time. And right about here's where you're going to see it.
What's this? This is unreal.
What's that? Where are the armed guards?
Nobody's there.
Where are the AR-15s?
Half a mile.
Where's the razor wire? Where's the gates? That's half a mile from where the media is blowing up that Texas versus the feds, that we're having this big battle. So that was one gate. That was the very first gate that I saw. We drove down a little bit more. There's one. It had a chain on it. So you keep driving down the road. You got Trump's wall doing its job. This one has never even had a gate. So to me, doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, libertarian. It doesn't matter what you are. And you're posting about this Texas versus the feds and we could have a civil war. I'm telling you right now, if a civil war breaks out, it's not because there's something good to fight over. It's because it's election time. It is because the news media is corrupt and you need to turn the TV off. I don't care what news media you watch. Just go down there and look yourself.
Wow. I mean, is that just? It took a comedian that has a TikTok and a YouTube show that usually just trying to be funny, who lives in Texas, to show you something that nobody else is showing you.
Listen, I'll take that whole premise a step farther. I've been listening to people for almost 3 years who have given this operation a name. They call it catch and bus. People walk up to the holes in the wall where the buses are waiting for them. They get on the bus. They're taken by bus or to an airplane or even to train sometime to their to take them to their final destination point. So I'm glad that he's found this out. But come on.
Yeah.
We've known this, or we should have known this.
But you know the narrative in the world we live in. If there's not video, it didn't happen. So people, you can talk all you want to, but people want to see pictures and video.
And I agree.
Yeah.
These pictures say, more than 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And I congratulate this young man. I think he's doing a great job.
I mean, we're still, let's just be fair and open here. We're still just taking his word for it.
We are.
That he drove a half a mile by and showed that. But the reality is this. Number one, I think I've saw several people that's verified what he said is true.
Can I get on my Google satellite and just find the same thing?
Probably not.
Would I be able to do that?
You probably wouldn't see the holes from the satellite. But what I'm trying to say to you is this. It doesn't matter if it was a half a mile or if it was 10 miles. These are open gates in the border.
Yes.
Paved roads with no border agents whatsoever. Now, I know you didn't see any people coming across, but that don't mean they hadn't. Yeah. Some of the videos that I've seen where people's running through the walls, they got night vision, and I'm thinking, how are they running right through the walls? And then you see these open areas in the wall that Trump built, and that's what they're running through.
Or what you showed earlier, these people have found, and they're passing along the information of this gap between the end of the fence and the rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. They're getting through in, a multitude of ways, and it's there's going to be consequences at some point, right?
Yeah. Hey, and I want to remind everybody that every Thursday night is the Kingdom Intelligence Report, and this week is Pastor Paul Begley. What? Yes. Are you serious? Nice. If you don't know anything about Pastor Paul, then you ain't been on YouTube long.
I'm betting he's going to have a lot to say coming straight out of that webinar.
You better believe it, and just in general of the world that we're living in right now. So we cannot wait to hear what Pastor Paul. It'll be 7 o'clock this Thursday night, Pastor Paul Begley on the Kingdom Intelligence Report. All right, so a couple more things on here. Schumer, here's the thing. If Schumer's fighting for a bill, I'm against it, okay? I'm just telling you.
You don't even need to know what it's about. You're just automatically against it.
Listen to what he said. This is unreal, Sandy. Schumer threatens the American people that he will send U.S. troops to fight Russia unless Republicans agree to his $100 billion world aid bill. This is what the author's calling it. That's not what they're calling it. They're calling it a border security situation. But he wants money for Ukraine. And so Democrat Schumer says, give me money or else your sons will fight in a war. Senate Majority Chuck Schumer on Monday threatened to send U.S. troops to fight Russia unless Republicans agree to his $100 billion world aid currently stalled in Congress. The Senate's $118.28 billion national security supplement package allocates $60 billion in military aid to Ukraine. In the coming days, the Senate must act decisively on the emergency national security supplement funding. On Monday, I will take the first procedural step in getting this passed in the Senate with the first vote scheduled on Wednesday. And of course, Senate Majority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell, who is a rhino to the core, is in agreement with the bill as well. And only $20 billion was allocated to secure the U.S. border amid an unprecedented invasion of military-aged men from Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America and China, as we have said. And it goes on to say that $60 billion goes to Ukraine to fight back against Putin. $14.1 billion goes to security assistance for Israel. $2.4 billion to support operations in U.S. Central Command and address expenditures related to the Red Sea. Now, I want you to see how we're spread out here. Yeah. We got money going to Ukraine, money going to Israel. Now we got money going to the Red Sea. $10 billion in humanitarian assistance to Gaza and to Ukraine, West Bank, Gaza, Ukraine, and other populations caught in conflicts across the globe. $4.8 billion to support key regional partners in the Indo-Pacific and deter aggression by the Chinese government. So now we see shoring up. But watch this. $2.3 billion to support Ukrainians displaced. And I will see if I can find it here, but I saw it in another article. One of them in that right there where it says the $4.83 billion, part of that is going directly to Taiwan to shore up preparedness for military conflict with China. So we have told you here that we're going to war with China. We're probably going to war with Russia. World War III is not coming. World War III has already started, and we're not going to be in it one day. We're already in it. We're in it by proxy. We're in it by drone attack. We're in it by computer cyber attack, and we are certainly in it by money.
It's hard to hear that kind of language. It's hard to hear you say that. I mean, I know we've said it. We've danced around it many times on this show, but it does seem like we are.
Yeah, it does.
And what does escalation look like? I mean,
Right.
It's kind of a slow drip, kind of quiet thing. Nobody wants to say those words out loud, but what event is going to happen that's going to kick it off and there's going to be no denial, like these lawmakers, these people in Washington, that they'll no longer be able to deny it and they're going to have to start talking about it. But would you call this article another instance of saying the quiet thing out loud?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, my goodness, this is crazy.
Well, and then we don't have a news article on this, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. I don't know how many of you know this, but either right now or he just left, but Tucker Carlson is in Russia and trying to get an interview with Vladimir Putin.
Saw that.
I mean, come on. Ask yourself this. Why does Tucker Carlson feel it is so necessary right now to go in the middle of the election, in the middle of the border crisis here and all? Why is he in Russia trying to get an interview with Vladimir Putin? Because I believe he thinks he can get Putin to say something to him that no other mainstream media wants to hear him say.
If he's even successful in getting a foot in the door, I cannot even imagine what that would mean, because I can't imagine this. If this interview took place, it ever seeing the light of day, wouldn't you think that everybody would try to stop it?
No, but they
even
can't.
Attempt on his life?
It's Musk. It's Elon Musk. Elon Musk has sent him. And I'm going to tell you something. If he gets an interview with Vladimir Putin, I'm going to make a prediction right now. It will be the most watched interview in the history of media.
The world.
I'm telling you, I believe it. In the history of media. Not because I support Putin, not because I think he's a good guy. He's a demonic guy. Okay, he's an evil guy. He's a communist. He claims to be some kind of weird Christian. He's not a Christian. Okay, I can't say anybody's not a Christian, but I'm going to tell you something. Putin's not a guy to emulate. Okay, but here's the thing: the world. He's probably been saying a lot of things that we needed to hear him say, but we're being blocked from hearing him say that.
I believe that.
And he wants to reveal things. He says things about the cultural agenda of America. Yeah. He says things about the LGBTQ. He says things about the wokeness of our military. He's calling things out that the people in America are scared to death to call out. Now, I'm not making him a good guy, but I'm telling you, if he sits down with Tucker Carlson for an unfiltered interview that will be only showed on X, it will be the most watched, viewed interview in the history of media. And I'm going to tell you what it will do. And you're right, they will try to stop it. But
if we can't even hear the words of Putin, what he says in their media and rebroadcast here, how in the world are we supposed to be able to see a full-fledged interview he does with an American citizen, basically, journalist, if you want to call him that.
We shall
whatever.
See. We shall see. Because, everything he's done, he's interviewed Trump, he's interviewed Snowden. I mean, these people that they're just, we've heard their names and nobody can get in to talk to them. He's getting in there. The best thing ever happened to him was being fired by Fox News. I'm telling you, that is something. And hey, I don't think it'll happen, but there's rumors that he's in the top 3 for the VP. Can you imagine if Trump was to come out and say, I've chosen Tucker Carlson to be my vice president?
I don't think he could take the pay cut. right?
No, he couldn't take the pay cut. But I'm gonna tell you what couldn't happen is Trump could. I don't think Trump could handle another alpha male like that.
True.
That would steal the spotlight from him.
So
you
true.
know. Speaking of another person that likes the spotlight, Little Kim is really kicking it up, Sandy. Some insiders are now saying that they believe that this is the year that North Korea will fire nuclear weapons.
Help us, Lord.
Yep. This if we need anything else crazier for 24.
I would not want to be in South Korea. I'll tell you that right now. I feel sorry for those folks.
In his most intensive drive for power over the Korean Peninsula since his father's death more than 12 years ago, North Korea's Kim Jong-un is mounting a blitzkrieg of weapons tests and rhetoric. His goal is to convince both his own people and his enemies that he'll risk a second Korean war. This is his words. To reunite North and South Korea under a one-man rule. Now, here we go again. See this name that keeps popping up. Buoyed by his relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Kim is shipping artillery shells and missiles for Russian forces bogged down in Ukraine while spreading fears of a grand plan to take over South Korea. The dream is to fulfill the vision of his grandfather, regime founder Kim Il-sung, who tried and failed to conquer the South in the First Korean War. So, you know, you go back, as we say over and over again, Trump's not a savior. We're not trying to say he's the greatest thing in the world. We're not trying to say he did everything right. But when he was president, you did not hear hardly a peep out of this Little Kim here. In fact, Little Kim welcomed him in, shook his hand, welcomed him into North Korea.
Yeah.
But now, you know, they're not trying to build relationships with America. They're not intimidated by America. They're all trying to build relationships with Russia and with China.
They've got some strange alliances going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
But think about it. He took the train ride.
I know.
He took the train ride to Russia.
Yep.
And sat down face to face. You know, all these leaders from around the world has gone to Russia and sit down face to face. Even China's premier, Xi Jinping, is that how you say his name? He went to Russia face to face.
Xi Jinping.
They are meeting face to face. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you meeting face to face? In all the technology that we have today, in the supposed secure technology that we have today, why do you have to sit in the room face to face unless you want to discuss things that you want to be 100% sure cannot be hijacked across the internet?
Oh, and as a bonus, you want to make sure the world sees you in the same room together.
True. Good point. Good point. So, speaking one more time about China and when it comes to things here in America, Security News is breaking this week that China's hackers have continued to target U.S. water and electricity supplies. An indictment from the U.S. Department of Justice may have solved the mystery of how disgraced cryptocurrency exchange FTX lost over $400 million in crypto. The indictment filed last week alleges that 3 individuals used a SIM swapping attack to steal hundreds of millions of virtual currency. The timing and the amount stolen coincides with the theft. Meanwhile, in a letter obtained by Wired magazine, 7 lawmakers have demanded to stop funding based on inaccurate predictive policy tools. And he goes on to say that the prosecutors say a 17-year-old named Alan Winston is responsible for hundreds of swatting attacks in the United States. The news of his arrest reported goes on to say that this same organization, I didn't mean to read all of that because it gets down into here about China's targeters. It says Western security officials have warned about the threat of China collecting data about millions of people and the country's hackers all working together. Same thing that happened with the FTX, all a part of the same group funded by China. Countries' hackers infiltrating sensitive systems. This week, the FBI director, Christopher Wray, said hackers and affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party are constantly targeting U.S. critical infrastructure, such as water treatment plants, the electrical grid, and oil and gas pipelines.
Yeah.
Wow. So China hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities. Why are they doing that? They're doing that. They attack the cryptocurrency. They attack the economic stability of our country. Now they're attacking the power grid. They're attacking the water supply. They're attacking the food supply. And then they're sending thousands, if not millions, of illegal immigrants across the U.S. border. They have missiles in Cuba already trained on the 50 top sites of America. They don't need us to go to war with them in Taiwan. You know, I don't know about the wording of this, but you know, Stan Dale said on our show last week that he believes that we're going to be physically invaded by the Chinese army here on the land here.
Just with what we know, it seems like that is not too far-fetched.
No.
It seems like that is possible. But, you know, certainly they're hacking, and they're probably very good at their hacking. But come on. We have so many Chinese components. They probably already have a back door
Think about it.
into all of these places.
Think about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even us using our best sophisticated technologies and attempts to stop the hacking and to stop coming in a back door. If we have so many of their components in equipment that we use, we are going to be not able to stop everything.
Yeah,
I just don't see how we could.
And I remember going back to Tucker Carlson, I remember seeing an interview he did. I can't even remember who he was talking to, but he was talking about a Chinese invasion, and he said something very interesting. He was talking about nuclear weapons, and he said, I think it was him that said it. It was either him or the person he was interviewing said, I don't believe they're going to attack us with nuclear weapons. Why would they need to? He's like, that don't even make sense, because how much easier it is for them to just turn the electricity off.
Sure.
And he said if they turn the electricity off, turn the internet off, sort of sounds like the movie on Netflix, and Leave the World Behind that we talked about, preparing us for something. Yep. He said just turn the electricity off, turn the internet off, turn communication, turn cell phone signals off, affect the water supply so you can't. He goes, that's more efficient than a nuclear weapon. And he goes, here's the reality. They're already in. They're already in these systems. He said, so I think they probably have the capabilities, and he said, I'm not putting it past them. He goes, but that was a former generation that worried so much about nuclear weapons. That was my generation.
Yes.
We worried about nuclear weapons. But the reality is this, in this generation, nuclear weapons are still devastating. But, hey, if you really want to take over a country, just shut down the infrastructure, remove the people, keep the buildings, keep the infrastructure. You didn't blow anything up. Then go in there when they're in their weakened state and take it over. I mean, that's the modern day military plans that we're dealing with now.
What is that technology, that bomb that can
I don't know what it's called, but
get rid of the humans, but not damage your infrastructure?
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically almost like an EMP. Where it just some type of magnetic structure just kills the people, kills the animals, all of that, and maybe kills even the infrastructure, but leaves the buildings intact. So they can just go in and take it over. I mean, there's so much modern things now that. Thank you for that super chat, Saul.
Wow.
Saul, my
That's
man,
great.
my
Thank
man.
you so much.
It's good to see you back,
wonderful.
Pastor Larry.
It
Sorry.
is.
Oh yeah, they go. Come on, that's my man right there. What a blessing, man. Love you, son. All right, so let's shift gears here. Staying in the same vein, but a different gear, German foreign minister believes that the EU must work towards a two-state solution in Israel. Let's not forget there's a major conflict happening in Israel. A two-state solution to allow for peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians is the only solution. That's what they're saying to the current conflict. German foreign minister Baerbock said on Monday before heading into an EU foreign ministers meeting, quote, all those who say they don't want to hear about such a solution have not brought any alternative, she said, while also calling for the urgent humanitarian pause to the war raging in the Gaza Strip. Now, let's not forget that it was also revealed this week that the President of the United States, as well as Anthony Blinken and some others in the cabinet, are already circulating trying to ask lawyers and officials how they can recognize Palestine as a nation without any UN involvement, without any declaration and actual legitimate creation of a two-state solution. They're trying to pressure Israel into giving up the land, giving up their sovereignty as a nation. And the reality is this, we've said it here and we'll say it again, The tragedy of what's happening in Gaza is horrible.
It is.
But the reality is this: the people in Gaza, the Palestinian people, do not want a two-state solution. They have no desire to have a two-state solution. They've made that very clear. No one in the Palestinian government wants a two-state solution. In fact, there are people in the Israeli government that wants a two-state solution, but the Palestinian people do not. They do not want to live peaceably with Israel. They want Israel wiped off the map. That is a fact. From the river to the sea means annihilation.
Right.
And so many of these kids, these college kids that are saying that and shouting, they don't even know what it means. A lot of reporters have asked him, what's the river? Well, is it the Euphrates River? What is it? Nile River? What's the sea? The Red Sea? No, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just chanting it to be woke. But the reality is this, Sandy. You got the United States government, Biden and Netanyahu not even on talking terms. Did you know that? The last several weeks and even months, they've not even spoken.
We've talked about the fact that they haven't had calls between them, and things seem to have gotten very icy between them. But what are you going to do when the Palestinians, they're not interested in a two-state solution, but on one side, then you've got Benjamin Netanyahu over here saying they're all got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting them all out of there.
Yeah.
What is going to happen?
Yeah. And President Biden also came out today and said that he sent word to Netanyahu that he in no way supports a year-long conflict. And Netanyahu said it will take at least this whole year to finish it. Not to mention, they're already starting to fight with Hezbollah.
We talked about last week. What a low percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, what a high percentage. 80-something percent
80%.
of the tunnels
still exist.
Still exist.
Never even been touched yet. Never been destroyed yet. In fact, it came out today, Sandy, that one of the soldiers said they've not been in a house yet that did not have access to a bunker. That's what they said today. This was a soldier.
Every residence.
That's what they said.
Every personal residence has an access.
This particular soldier, not saying everyone, he said, I've not been in a house yet
Here's
that
what we
did
need to
not
do.
have access to underground.
Here's what we need to do. We need to start a GoFundMe. We need to send our own correspondent over there who can report back and tell us what's actually going on.
I ain't going.
You're not going?
No.
Does anybody out there want to volunteer?
There ain't nobody going to volunteer. That's a very dangerous situation.
It is a very dangerous situation.
Sounds like a good idea, but that ain't happening.
We need to know the truth, though.
We do need to know the truth. We need to know the truth.
By the way, I think
CNN will tell us the truth. The truth matters.
Jesus Freak, thank you for letting us know that was called a neutron bomb. I just couldn't think of the word.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So, by the way, if you would like to support us and become a partner,
yes,
all you got to do is go to LarryRagland.tv. When you go to LarryRagland.tv, you will see the archives of our shows that we've had before. You can also see ways that you can send a gift if you'd like to help support our ministry. You can make a one-time gift online. You can become a monthly partner. You can read or watch our contributions to the Epic Times, our television show, and many of you have already read our book and are reading our book right now. Thank you so much. If you have not got a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You, you can get it there. And by the way, if you want to learn a little bit about why it's called I See Greatness in You, you can watch this little video here underneath the screen there, underneath that click here, because that is some professional actors that acted out the words and how the words came into our life. And it's really, really interesting to know how it happened. You can go to our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media. And many of you, I've noticed from the emails that I've been getting, are joining our email list. And we appreciate that so much. So thank you so much for all of you that take the time to go to our website. Take the time, certainly, to contribute, whether it be super thanks, super chats, partners. They're a huge, huge blessing. Now, one of the things we want to remind you as we shift from war in the natural to the war for your freedom and your liberty is one of the things that we have been on the forefront trying to tell you about and remind you about is the World Health Organization's Global Pandemic Treaty that we read segments from. I don't even know how many months and months ago. Last year, several times.
It was, yeah.
And we knew it was coming. Yep. And so now it's pretty close.
Yes, it is.
May of this year is the ratifying vote where all the countries that are part of the World Health Organization
Thank you, Lisa Marie.
Thank you, Lisa Marie. Yeah.
We very much appreciate that.
Appreciate it. So in May of this year is when all the nations are going to vote to ratify it or reject it. And as of today, and I believe it will be this way to the end, not a single country has pushed back and said that they're not going
what
to
do you
ratify
think is up with that? There have to be some that really want to do it, but yet no one has done it.
They would be shut down. I mean, you can't go against the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization. So let's look at it. So when we are who he's talking about. Tedros, who is the leader of the World Health Organization, at the recent World Economic Forum, and we covered that, and he's talked about it since then as well, declares that fake news, which he says we are fake news, and lies and conspiracy theories are being spread about the pandemic.
It's the number one danger.
Number one danger.
The
Against
disinformation and misinformation
is the number one crisis and danger to the earth.
To Earth.
More than climate change, more than extreme weather. Those are number 2 and 3 for the next 2 years. Now they're number 1 and 2 for the next 10 years, but for the next 2 years, number 1 is misinformation and disinformation.
Yep.
This is what he says, quote, "We cannot allow this historic agreement, this milestone in global health, to be sabotaged by those who spread lies, either deliberately or unknowingly," Tedros remarked. So the WHO director, Tedros, recently rebuked the claims surrounding the highly touted pandemic treaty, which would effectively defer certain health ordinances under the care of the Director General and the WHO should they ever declare another pandemic. Should they ever again? When they do.
You mean like this one that we know is coming? That
Disease
is unnamed?
Unnamed.
Unnamed.
Yep.
But we know it's coming.
Even said not a matter of if, but when. Dr. Tedros claims that this is just simply nonsense. He frustratedly remarked during a meeting at the January 22nd, the topic of the discussion covered strengthening pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response.
Restoring trust, right?
Restoring trust, yeah. That was the theme.
Those weffers want to restore your trust.
Oh, God. Nope. Oh, there it is. That was a double. You got crickets in the background, too. He added, member states have committed to the historic task of delivering a pandemic agreement and a package of amendments to improve the international health regulations to the World Health Assembly in May of this year. He also emphasized getting this treaty ratified last month during the annual World Economic Forum meeting. Watch this. A warning that is when and not if a new pandemic strikes.
Are they psychic? What?
They are.
They're prophetic.
It's
a weird prophetic thing, right?
That's what it is. And he goes on to say that, and I don't know if it's here. Yeah, it says, I want to see if I can find that one statement that he said. I don't see it, but this is what he said. Okay, this is the generation that lived through COVID-19 pandemic, and this is the generation that must learn its painful lessons and protect the generations who will come after us. He goes on to say that if we don't do it now, and I want to see if I can find it. If I can tell you. He said to the World Economic Forum that if we do not do this now, we will never get it done.
I think we talked about that at length a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, and so why did he say that? And I think he said that because he sees a shifting, he sees a pushback, he sees people waking up.
You talking about more red pillars?
More red pillars.
More woke folk?
Yep, and I think
awake folk, I should say.
And then he looks at Argentina that got elected the president that went up there and just spanked their rear end.
Yeah.
And and then they, of course, if you remember when Trump went. I don't know if you remember, he went, I think he was the last president that's actually been, but when he went, he got up there and just raked them over the coals. I mean, he just said, the problem with the whole world is in this room, and I'm going to oppose everything you say here. And they were just like, they didn't know what to do. It was unbelievable. But while all that's going on, Sandy, we must also remind people that not only is everybody trying to align with Russia militarily, but they're trying to align with BRICS. We hadn't talked about BRICS in a while, But BRICS is exploding, y'all.
It's like another sleeping giant. It's like
Yep.
we cart them out of the closet every once in a while and let them have their woo.
Yep.
And when it quiets down and goes away. But
And I think they want it that way. They want us. They want to be
absolutely
stealth.
want it that way because it's not just BRICS. Help me out. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America.
Yes, that's right.
It's not just them.
No.
That's a cute little, name, but it encompasses already so many different countries and so many more clamoring to get in.
Yep, that's what this day is about. It says the first day of the BRICS Sherpas and Sous Sherpas meeting, organized by Russia as the group's chairman, was held in Moscow. Representatives of the 5 new members of the association, Egypt, Iran, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, and Egypt, are taking part in it for the first time. One of the priorities of BRICS activities in 24, Russia declared harmoniously inclusion of the debutantes in the common work. Now these plans are being put into practice. Traditionally, the Sherpas gather to reconcile positions of the main international areas, discuss pressing issues. But he goes on to say, if I can see right here, he goes, in line with the decision of the BRICS leaders in Johannesburg, we will explore ways to make greater use of national and local currencies and payment instructions in our cross-border transactions in order to reduce the negative side effects of the current global economic system. Russia says ditching the U.S. dollar for trade settlements is its top priority in 2024. So all of these nations, including China, of course, China and Russia being the main one, said that that they believe it's necessary to use national currencies in settlements between countries. We should strengthen our practical cooperation, support the active work, and promote the developments of the BRICS new development bank. And of course, they are also bringing forth their own BRICS digital dollar, CBDC. So more and more and more, you're seeing Brazil.
All backed by gold, going to be backed by gold.
Gold backed, which will be actual money.
Would you say that through our military strength as well as global trade being settled, all kinds of commerce being settled all over the world using the petrodollar, we've gained this dominance?
Yep.
But the peoples of the world are sick of American elitism and dominance.
True.
And they know we can undercut the strength of America by refusing to trade in American dollars, in the petrodollar. We'll just trade amongst ourselves another way.
Yep, exactly. And there are countries that are joining BRICS that are not communist. There are countries that are joining. I mean, France. France has petitioned and have said they're very interested in joining BRICS. I mean, these are NATO countries that are saying, look, we don't agree with you militarily. We're not going to support your war and all this kind of stuff. But we don't want nothing to do with the U.S. dollar anymore. It's crashing and burning right before our eyes. Yeah. The petrodollar is a thing of the past. And they are getting out of the U.S. dollar, y'all. Yeah. And the United States media will not tell you what you need to know. The world is setting up against America. I mean, militarily, economically, in the banking industry, all across every kind of industry, they are stacking up again. They are not afraid of America anymore.
Nope.
They're just not afraid of America anymore. And they're certainly not afraid of the military in America anymore.
And we're only beginning to see the ripples that are going to happen from this frustration that these other countries have had. We are only beginning to see the problems that are coming in this country.
Exactly. If you hadn't smashed that like button, do it now. Smash it, smash it, smash it. If you're watching us on Rumble, make sure you hit that like button as well and comment and let us know. And share this broadcast. Help us build the big picture. I mean, it don't cost you anything to do that. It's completely free. Just click that like button. If we're adding benefit to your Monday nights or whenever you're watching this on replay, if we're helping you open up your eyes to see things that are really going on, all we ask is just help us build it. Help us get out there in front of as many people as we can, because we're on a mission to help as many people open their eyes to the big picture. And that's what's important to us. So when you subscribe, when you hit that like button, when you share, that's the easiest way that you can help us. Now, of course, we just came out of the wah-wah.
Yeah.
And now they're preparing to take us back into another wah-wah. And who knows what that's going to look like? Who knows how people are going to push back? But one of the things that you're hearing more and more and more talk about is how many people, especially young people, are dying of heart attacks.
Yeah.
And for so long, you couldn't say that. You couldn't even talk about it. And we got to still be careful how we say this because we won't get flagged here. Not on Rumble, though. Come on.
Woo.
To the Rumble crowd.
Goodness.
You know, we'll still be over there. But scientists are trying to figure out, and I'll put this article up here because I want to show you how they say everything else except what they need to say. Young adults are having heart attacks more often. What is causing it? We're just asking a question, YouTube. That's all we're doing. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the United States. In the last few decades, though, with advances in the prevention and management of coronary artery disease, the occurrence of heart attacks in older adults has been declining. Alarmingly, the occurrence of heart attacks and other forms of heart disease among younger adults, ages 20 to 50, is increasing. The increase is cardiovascular problems in this group in 2020 and 2021 was so great that it contributed to declines in life expectancy. For the first time in my lifetime and in your lifetime, every year, even if it's a quarter or a half a year, life expectancy has expanded, at least in the last few decades.
Yeah.
But because there was so many, not died of the wah-wah, contracting the virus, but died, not the virus, wah-wah, but something was interjected into our systems in 20 and 21. And for whatever reason, young people began to have blood clots and started dying unexpectedly. So what's causing this disturbing trend? There's evidence of heart conditions and the consequences, here it is, of poor food choices and a lack of exercise. So there it is, Sandy. That's why these healthy young people that are playing basketball, that are specimens of fitness.
So they're already exercising.
But
When they collapse and have a medical situation.
It's because they went to McDonald's. It's because they had a Big Mac. Here's what they know about the signs of heart disease and what to look for and what to avoid. Largely preventable fallout results from healthy habits. It goes on to say blockage can come from the things that you eat. You could other contributing factors that they could have, diabetes that they didn't know about, high blood pressure, chronic kidney disease, or all these things that could be lurking in there. But ladies and gentlemen, probably in your town, probably in your, maybe even in your family, certainly in your workplace or on your news of your local news, you have heard reports of young people.
Yes.
You have seen videos of.
We had a star athlete right here in our own community.
Oh, it's tragic. God, it was so tragic.
Just a very horrible thing.
Very horrible thing. I've seen videos of newscasters falling over, people standing on the sidelines reporting for football games just dying suddenly. And here's what I want to say to you. And I think we all know, without saying it, I think we all know what we're talking about. I don't remember the guy's name that was in the football game that got hit, and then he just went down.
Oh, somebody will remember his name.
Yeah. But here's my question. I don't watch the NFL, okay? I watch college football. I don't watch the NFL.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that not only has he come back to playing, but he's just like, they're amazed at his turnaround. Now, somebody verified that for me, that he's back in the NFL and that he's having phenomenal season and so forth. Now, if that is the case, if he's back in the NFL, like I said, I can't believe I don't know this, but I don't watch the NFL. I don't care anything about the NFL. But and you watch that and you tell me if they verify that he's back. Here's my question. If you had a heart issue, if you had a valve issue, if you had a rhythmic issue, if you had something that was a hidden heart problem and the blow of that hit triggered it and had a temporary heart attack and you recovered and all of that, there is no insurance company in the world that would allow you to go back to playing again. unless you knew that the reason that it happened was not because of a previous medical condition, but it was because of something else. So the reality is this: if I knew that I had a heart problem, and somebody had found that I
Damar
had
Hamlin.
okay, Damar
Thank
Hamlin,
you,
yes,
Rick.
he is playing again. Thank you, Rick. Okay, and I've heard he's having a phenomenal season. Now watch
Great.
this. Now watch this. If it was all about the fact that he was born with something wrong with his heart that gave him a propensity to, if he gets hit a certain way again, he could have another heart attack on live TV, die, and then his family sue the NFL for knowing that you could have done this to my son and you still put him out there. There ain't no way that the NFL would put you back in that same situation if your heart had a propensity to do it again. Think about what I'm saying. Unless it really wasn't something that was already in the heart. It was something else.
Wow.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Well, we have heard a large occurrence of, I have at least, myocarditis and pericarditis. And that seems to be on the uptick. Is it for the same, reason, the same narrative that we're talking about here? I don't know. But certainly there seems to be a lot more medical conditions and emergency medical conditions being reported than in the past. So,
well, I'm just going to read an article. I'm not going to make commentary on it. I'm just going to read an article.
okay.
This is what the article says. A recent study suggests that the wah-wah caused 14 deaths for every life they saved. A peer-reviewed study suggested the estimated harms of the wah-wah mRNA greatly outweighed the rewards. For every life saved, there was nearly 14 times more.
Thank you for that super chat.
Oh, thank you. Next.
He says a new word for you, jabberoo.
Jabberoo. I'll take it.
Jabberoo.
The study, published in the Curious Digital Journal, part of a mainstream Springer Nature journal, says the effectiveness of the mRNA wah-wah is preventing loss of life was much lower than initially reported, estimating it took around 5,200 vaccinations to prevent just one life being taken.
Hang on. 52,000.
What did I say? 52,000. What did I say?
500.
52,000.
I don't know. It says 52,000 though in the article.
Is that what I said? What did I say?
I don't think you said 52,000.
52,000 vaccinations to prevent just one loss of life. The study authors noted that this works out to roughly 2 lives saved per 100,000 wah-wah. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of that because I know I'm going to get flagged like crazy. But what I'm saying is more and more news reports are coming out. What we have said on this show, we will say again. Whatever you did in the past, we're not judging you.
No.
You make your own personal medical decision. We are
Yes.
not medical advisors.
Yes.
I'm just saying we were not told the whole truth.
I don't think we were told the whole truth. And a lot of people are suspicious that they have been, wah-wah injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you ever really prove that. But there's a lot of speculation, right?
Yeah.
A lot of questions.
A lot of
A lot
questions.
of people unsettled about that. So
And I think that's why Tedros is so intense about trying to get this done
Yes.
in May, because so many people are asking questions, just like we're asking questions, going, wait a minute, this don't make sense. These are kids. I mean, think about it.
Yes.
We're in our mid, well, you're still in your mid 50s. I'm on the backside. I'm headed towards 60 now. But I mean, I know young people when we were growing up had heart problems.
Yes.
That's common. That's with humanity.
you would hear of the rare person that died, and then they, upon autopsy, realized they had a very
a hole in their heart or
rare
something.
condition.
But that was so far and
So few and far between. Yes.
It was like you hear about it all the time. And I'm talking about athletes are the ones that are
Young,
this has
healthy.
happened to more than even the ones that are sitting around playing games. It's the athletes that this is happening to. It's those that do all the things they tell you to be healthy, eat right, exercise, and something weird is happening. And so we're just asking questions. And I'm going to tell you, ain't no telling what's going to happen in this video because of just asking questions. But, and by the way, almost every single week over the last 2 months, this show more and more and more is getting flagged, y'all.
You dangerous question askers.
Exactly. So we're on some kind of list, y'all. We're already on a list, and
I got a feeling you've been on a list for a long time.
I think I have been on a list for a long time. I think I was on a list before I ever got on YouTube. And when I got on YouTube, there's like, okay.
No, I mean, you probably...
Now he's on the list.
You're probably on a list the day you were born.
It's probably true. Probably true.
For one reason or another, you've been on multiple lists.
I think so. I wear that with a badge of pride. I tell you, it's legendary on here on the Big Picture Live. Y'all know how much I love a good steak and I love a good hamburger. And I cannot stand these people telling me to eat the bugs. But here's 3 crazy reasons why beef prices are going to skyrocket. Going to skyrocket? I think they're already skyrocketing, but what they're trying to tell you is going to be going even further.
I think we've talked about this months ago.
Yes.
That you should expect the price of beef to go up.
Yep. Doesn't matter how shocking beef prices are today, tomorrow they're almost certainly going to be even more shocking. In fact, the normalization of beef as a premium food, which is the will of the World Economic Forum, is already in progress. It's hard to find a fast food burger under $4. And they're generally made with low-quality foreign beef, rife with fillers and chemicals. Yeah. This isn't just Bidenomics having its way with the American people. There is a concerted effort to not only reduce beef consumption, but to eliminate it altogether. We've discussed before on this show as well how the powers that be intend to promote lab-grown meat, insect products, and plant-based meat alternatives as the primary source of protein in American diets. But now the foundation is in place for those intentions to come to reality. So here are the 3 ways the natural attacks on beef. Number 1, some are discussing conspiracy theories surrounding weather control and manufactured natural crisis as methods that drive this agenda, but one does not need to wear a tinfoil hat to see that there are clearly changes in factors that contribute to farming and ranching. Droughts are real, becoming more common areas to cattle that normally roam. Climate change cult narratives. The ringleaders of the climate change world have used faulty science and corporate media mouthpieces to promote the narrative that cows are causing global warming. This flies in the face of real studies. Of course, we know that. It's just a bunch of cow poots. Cow poots. Cow poots, and I don't know, is poots a bad word?
Probably shouldn't use it in this forum.
Okay, cow flatulence. Flatulence. Did I say that right? Flatulence?
It's just that methane.
That literally is saying that cow flatulence is worse than cars. Okay, and then, of course, control. The citizens are fighting back, especially in Europe, but we're seeing farmers and ranchers, they're trying to control the farmers. So, Sandy, it goes on to say, stock up, prepare yourself.
Okay, that sounds...
How do you do that?
So great. How do you stock up?
Most people can't do that.
I mean, seriously. And what if the power goes out?
Right. Yeah. So Rick Whitaker, I love Rick. Rick, I hope to meet you one day, buddy. You're a faithful big pitcher. And he is a rancher. He has cows. And he says, oh, no, not my cows. Manure causes methane. We know that. They got to get rid of it somehow, but the glorious hamburgers that come is just worth the methane, in my opinion.
It's worth the risk, right?
It's worth the risk. One more food item before we bring in Uncle Jimmy. I think Uncle Jimmy's warming up. He's
scratching at that closet door right now, wanting to get out. Oh, you say he's flying overhead?
Yeah. I heard something zooming over.
Okay.
That could either be the NSA coming in with their drones, or it might be Uncle Jimmy.
Maybe it's his cousin Cosmo.
Could be Cosmo.
I don't know. Somebody.
Cosmo is invisible. Remember, all you can see is his eyes. He's invisible, and you can go across dimensions. And so we may bring Cosmo in. But now watch this. This is just disgusting.
Okay.
The title alone. Ugh.
Okay.
But when you
Everybody brace yourself.
But when you hear what they mean. Experts warn that the food you're eating may have been pre-digested. Pre-digested. Now, when I first saw the headline, I was like, what am I about to read?
Oh, boy.
But when they begin to talk about the food that we're eating, listen to this. A ton of the ultra-processed foods that we snack on are created by a process that can be described as pre-digestion, which makes it all the less filling and all the more addictive. CNN reports many of the most processed grain-based foods we eat, from burger buns and pizza crust to potato chips and puddings, were made in a manner that is quite similar to a mama bird pre-chewing her baby's food, except in this case, it's all as if she digested it before regurgitating it into her own offspring. What? The bulk of what is extracted is starch slurry, a milky mixture of starch and water, but we also have extracted proteins and fibers. A video from the European Starch Industry Association explains roughly half of the starch slurry goes to produce these starch-based sugars and other derivatives. Those are created by hydrolysis, a process similar to human digestion. So they're talking about the processing process that all these foods go through. What did he say?
The processing process.
I was about to say, I was even going to say, the processing process of how they process
The
while they're
process
processing.
of the processing process.
When they are processing the processed, and the process that comes forth from the processing will pre-process the processed food as you eat it that will be processed in your body as well.
Okay.
But Sandy, is it sick? You remember that pink slime thing that was on the news with Taco Bell, where they would turn it into meat and it wasn't really meat? That's what they're trying to tell us. We've been eating this stuff. That's why people's stomachs are upset. That's why people they drink Diet Cokes and they eat diet food and they get more overweight and gain more. They can't stop eating because it's pre-digested in the same way. All the nutrients are already taken out of it. And is it planned, Sandy? Is this all a part of the plan?
Well, it seems like it absolutely could be. I mean, I can't prove it either way, but
Sue said, I can't process this. That was awesome.
That's okay.
I had to say that. Go ahead.
Love it.
Go ahead.
Love it.
About the plan. Is this the plan?
It seems like it could be, right?
Yes.
I mean, these wefers, they're just so sick. And they're evil.
Yes. Now watch what the article goes on to say. Our food, Chris Van Tulliken says it's only
these people and the names.
Well, we can't get no Americans. Can't get no Bubbas. Ain't no Bubbas out there doing these studies. Wouldn't it be awesome if we'd be reading something on futurism.com that says, Illinois professor Bubba Johnson says, I would love that. I'd be like, God, I got to meet Professor Bubba. But it's just an illusion of food. An illusion of food. It's expensive and difficult for a food company to make food that is real. This is what they're saying. It's expensive for a food company to make food that is real and whole, and much cheaper for food companies to destroy real foods and turn them into molecules and then reassemble those to make anything they want.
Wow.
That's why you see this processed corn.
Yeah.
They can turn corn into anything, including gas for your car.
Who knows what else? Oh, my goodness. Ugh.
Stay with me, baby. Stay with me. Breathe. I need a little bit of this wide awake coffee.
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to mentally process what I just heard.
Imagine this little bird. Here's your Snickers.
Oh, gosh.
And then we're going to wrap it in chocolate. Oh. That's that nougat. It's pre-processed from Mama Bird.
You are disgusting. Like, seriously disgusting.
Man, I'm craving a Snickers. I'm a little hangry.
Moving on.
But you remember what the people that told us that we shall eat the bugs? You know what else they said? You will own nothing. Finish it for me, and you will
be happy.
Well, guess what? If you listen, when are you going to start believing us? Everything that comes out of Davos, the world is lining up to make it happen. Okay? So this is from, I don't know where this article's from, but the dystopian contraption, this dystopian contraption is coming to your U.S. apartment building.
Yeah.
You will own nothing and be happy.
This is from Revolver News.
This is a company called Tulu. All right, so let me zoom this in a little bit.
Oh, are they going to help us rent our small appliances?
Yes, of course. Okay.
Yes,
The left's fixation on climate change is all about power and control, dictating what people can do and micromanaging every aspect of our lives, from the diet to living conditions and daily routines. And speaking of living conditions, you've probably heard about pods. They're trying to glamorize pods. Now, I'm going to show you 2 quick videos. The first one is, this is the new apartment. This is called pods. So if you're looking for a tiny house, get a Conquer.
The Conquer originally started with a tree house for my children.
A tree house.
And they wanted something like a shed in our trees, and there was no way I was going to build a shed. So we decided that we were going to, between us, that we were going to build a ball or a sphere.
So by the way, have you noticed how spheres and globes are becoming more and more apparent? Look at the thing in Las Vegas. I mean, you're starting to see more and more people are talking about pods and spheres and globes. Remember, just don't forget, all around the world, you got that big eye, that sphere. What was it called? Was it called the sphere? Where people were putting their face in there, tying their digital identity to it? That's still exploding all over the world. I want you to listen to this guy's idea of the world to come.
The idea was that as a young person or young couple, you buy 2 Conquers together, and then you have a child, then you order another room. So you can latch another Conquer to the 2 that you've got. And just imagine when the kids leave home, you could end up with the child taking their shell with them to start their own home.
So this is their apartment.
How are they supposed to move it? They don't want you to have a car.
True.
Or a truck.
Look at how tiny these things are. These are little tiny, just round balls of something that he made. He calls it a Conquer. But then here's the thing I want to get to. This is from Nora Bin Laden. I don't think it's Bin Laden. Maybe it is Nora Bin Laden. But she says, I don't have space for a printer in my pod. This smart rental store is so cool. Remember, you'll own nothing and be happy. And this, by the way, this is not a mocking. This is a woman that's really excited about it. And this is her apartment complex.
Yeah.
Listen to her describe how amazing the Tulu is in her lobby of her apartment.
Imagine you move into a new apartment building and this is what you see in the lobby. You don't have to buy your own vacuum, printer, or folding chairs because the building has it for you here. Tulu has come up with this concept, which is really basic, but I don't know why it's taken us this long to get here. And it's basically, they call it a smart rental store. And so as you can see here, there's vacuums. These are the robot floor cleaners. And then there's the printer. So I live in a small New York City apartment. I need to print things, but I don't have space for a whole printer. And so instead, imagine if this was in my lobby, then everyone in the building could just use this one printer. There's an app. You can go in and pick whatever you want to use. And no, my building doesn't have it, but yes, I was curious. So I downloaded the app and said I just lived in a different building. And these are all your options. I think this one hits home the most because I am so desperate to print. You could send it to that printer and pay 60 cents and just have it and be done with it. You don't have to buy the ink. You don't have to store the printer, and you don't have to buy a printer in the first place. I really wish Tulu was in my building.
Goodness, haven't we been doing that for a while now? Going and pay for copies? Didn't we have places like Kinko's?
But this is in your apartment. saying it's different. You don't have to go down the road. You
So,
can just go there.
I think these people are on drugs because why would I want to run out and rent an Instant Pot or a vacuum cleaner every time I needed to use one? Hopefully, you're vacuuming your apartment more often than the instance that you would need to run downstairs to the lobby to rent a vacuum. And what do you do
But Sandy,
if all the rental vacuums are gone?
But you live in a pod. Your entire vacuuming is not much bigger than this table that we're sitting in front
What
of
do you
right
do?
now.
Pick up the carpet and take it outside and just shake it? I don't know.
You'll be happy. You will be happy.
Because you're going to be on drugs. That's why.
That's what Yuval Noah Harari said. He said, this is how we're going to, these useless people, we're going to keep them on drugs and give them video
It
games.
makes me think of that series, Brave New World.
Yeah.
Every time somebody got upset or out of sorts, they reached in their pocket and pulled out their little bottle of pills and took another pill.
Yep.
And they just stayed like this all the time.
It's true.
Mind-numbed robots.
Real quick, this ain't got nothing to do with where we're flowing, but I just thought I'd throw this one in here. Have y'all heard what's happening with 23andMe? And if you sent your DNA out there, I'm praying for you. 23andMe is basically gone bankrupt. The inevitable fire sale of 23andMe to an overseas firm is coming and will be a national security risk. Several years ago, DNA testing company 23andMe began publicly trading on NASDAQ following a deal to merge with VG Acquisition Corp., a special purpose acquisition company founded by billionaire Richard Branson. The company was pimped by Hollywood elites such as Oprah and Lizzo, and market capitalization topped $6 billion in late 2021. Fast forward to this past week, 23andMe has lost 94% of its market cap.
How do you do what?
Look at that. 94% from their peak.
If you haven't done it already, don't do it.
Yep.
I've been hearing for 3 years that China, this information is being straight lined and mainlined to China.
Yep.
And they're databasing all of your personal DNA.
That's what it says. The inevitable fire sale of 23andMe has raised eyebrows among social media platform X users. A healthcare investor named Will Mandesis asked the question on X, within months, you will be able to buy genomics data from 14 million Americans for plus or minus $200 million. Mandis warns in the viral post, the inevitable fire sale of this mess to an overseas firm is going to be a national security matter on the scale of which we haven't seen in healthcare in years. And you can see the stock market crash there, and it goes on to say, I just can't wait to see who buys this gigantic pool of genetic data and whatever scheme they come up with it to monetize it. Look, they fall from $6 billion to nearly zero.
This is so suspicious and ridiculous. I don't even have words to begin to understand. I mean, this seems like such a lie, and we're just going to come out here and say, oh, so sad, too bad.
Yep.
We're going out of business. It's a fire sale.
Exactly. And let's not forget this. Google's DeepMind says that it trained an artificial intelligence that can predict which DNA variations in our genomes are likely to cause disease. Predictions that could speed diagnosis of rare disorders and possibly yield clues for drug development. DeepMind says it is known for artificial intelligence that can play video games and have conquered complex board games like Go. It jumped into medicine when it announced that its program AlphaFold was able to accurately predict the shape of proteins, a problem considered a grand challenge in biology. So what they're saying in this article is they believe that corporations like this would love to have DNA to actually work their AI testing on.
This sounds so dangerous.
Very dangerous. Speaking of dangerous scientists, stay with us for just about another 10 minutes, y'all, because Uncle Jimmy's on his way, and we're going to close it out with a humdinger, is what we call it down there in Alabama. We're going to show you a video that's going to be like, oh, my Lord, I am living in a movie.
gonna
Oh, my
be a
goodness.
Granny Hootenanny's coming.
Oh, Granny Hootenanny's coming. Oh, my goodness. Watch this right here.
Stay tuned.
Look what AI can do now, Sandy. Now, AI, this is just insane. Scientists have created breath biometrics, ability to identify someone by their breath. Scientists from Indian University of Technology in Madras in India have designed an algorithm that measures a person's exaltation. Did I say that right?
Exhalation.
Exhalation. I exalt you, Lord. I give you
I exalt
exaltation.
you in my exhalation. I promise. It's coffee. That's all that's in here.
Speaking of that. We're not sipping Saints. All we sip is coffee. Then it says it measures a person's breathing.
You mean from those exhalations?
Those exhalations, which can be used to authenticate.
Lindsay says she's waiting to exhale.
Woo. And you quit reading the live chat.
Stop it, you guys.
Y'all are so funny.
Good Lord, I'm getting distracted
This
up in
is the
here.
funniest live chat on the internet, y'all. The Big Picture family is the funniest. If we could record me and you reading the live chat when this show is over with, just how we laugh so hard we cry.
Especially if DRW's on here.
Oh yeah, he gonna do. He got some humdingers. Okay, this is a pioneering approach. This attempts to build a biometric system that works purely based on the fluid mechanics governing exhaled breath. We test the hypothesis that the structure of turbulence in exhaled human breath can be exploited to build biometrics algorithms. The work relies on the ideas that the extrathoracic airway is unique for every individual, making the exhaled breath a biomarker. So basically, here's what I'm thinking. You're gonna breathe as you're walking through. They're already scanning your faces. Everything you touch, they're scanning your fingerprint. Now you're just walking through, and they got machines that measuring your breathing, and you breathe. That's Larry Ragland.
But it's AI. They don't have to sleep. They don't need a break.
Right, exactly.
They may have to
That's how
temporarily.
they're figuring this stuff out.
That's right. They may have to shut down temporarily to upgrade something, but other than that, they're always on.
They're always on.
I like that company over here in Alabama. Who is it?
Oh. Talking about the power company?
Who's got the slogan always on? But
I don't know.
It's it just wears me down. It just wears me out thinking about all this stuff we talk about.
But sometimes I feel sorry for AI.
You do?
Yeah, because I'm thinking, what about those days that I eat Cool Ranch Doritos?
Oh.
And then you got to take my breath.
Well, they deserve it.
I mean, that's one of the. I mean, I know it's a little bit TMI here, but that's one of the few times that I can't get a kiss from my baby because if I'm eating Cool Ranch Doritos, I have to make a decision.
Go back to your side of the room.
I have to make a decision. It's just worth it. I don't get no sugar, but they are so good. But I mean, I'm just thinking about that. That's just weird they've already.
Yeah.
They can analyze your breath and identify who you are through your breath. So what are we breathing out? I mean, what are we breathing out? It's a little sidebar here, and for those, some of y'all may know this and may have heard this, but do you know what I heard? In my many weight loss journeys that I've had in my life, trying to lose weight.
This is going to be interesting. Y'all get the popcorn. Go ahead, Abe.
I couldn't believe this when I read this. Mm-hmm. Do you know that when you sweat, of course, you lose weight? And then, of course, you go to the bathroom, fluid comes out and all this. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I always thought, you losing weight, you're always going to the bathroom a lot and all that, and that's how you lose weight. But do you know the major way you lose weight? And y'all can fact check me on this, because I read this in a couple places. It's coming out of your breath. When you breathe, you are releasing whatever that's causing you to lose weight. Mm. So it's like, if that's true, and I've read that several times, and now they're saying they can identify me by my breath, what is really coming out of our breath? I just lost a gram. All right, let's move on before we lose our audience.
Yeah, because I'm trying to not read this chat, but it just goes on and on.
Okay,
you
focus.
are really going to be laughing.
Look
later.
right here. Look right here. Focus right here.
Okay.
China and Russia. Oh, wait a minute. This might fit in here.
Oh, come on now.
Jimmy! Uncle Jimmy. Jimmy. Supernatural AI update. I always love that picture because you're always like,
that's a different woman.
Yeah, we know. But all right, let's go back to this article here, because supernatural AI also includes space, technology of space.
It includes whatever we say it includes. Okay,
True.
Deal with it.
Just deal with it. That's right. China and Russia are in discussions, Sandy, for outer space security partnerships.
Do I even want to know?
And AI weapons in a chilling threat to the United States. The U.S., China, and Russia could find themselves in a new arms race when it comes to the use of AI in weapons. China and Russia held a meeting to discuss, quote, outer space security. What? And the use of AI in their respective militaries. Talks between Beijing and Moscow's officials took place last Thursday, and they agreed to consult and coordinate with each other when it comes to the use of AI in the armed forces. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that the officials had a detailed exchange of assessments of the use of the AI technology. China and Russia agreed to boost their cooperation under the group of governments, experts, the state of parties, blah, blah, blah. So they're now talking about
yada yada, blah blah blah, blah blah blah.
Space is now got to have police.
Got to have that space fence.
So is that why?
Not force fence, but yeah.
Well, they mocked Trump when he come forth with this space force, but let's tell you what, it wasn't his idea. He just revealed it. It's the government's idea. They probably already had a space force. They just felt like it's time and comfortable for them to start talking about it.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
So, oh my goodness, what has been going on, is going on, or they're afraid will go on, that we all got to ramp up our positions regarding space?
Because, a lot of things are about to happen in space. A lot of things. And you go back to start asking questions like, look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk come on the scene. His big thing is he's got this boring thing where he bores these holes in the ground, and we're talking about underground bunkers.
Did you say that those were nuclear powered?
No, you said that. I didn't verify that. So you said that. So I don't know.
I am curious to
know. I don't know. But you think about all these underground bunkers. You think about all this underground technology that everybody's going down underground because of something that's coming. You got him working underground. Then you got him working in the battery-operated cars and solar panels up here.
Solar panels, right.
Then you got him taking care of X, which is supposedly the only free speech platform out there. And then you've got rockets. He's now going to go to Mars. He's sending more space things into space than any government.
Yep.
So,
and he's smoking weed on Joe Rogan's show and having 7 children. Where does he find the time? Okay.
True. Is that all from one woman?
No, of course not.
Okay, he's got several women.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Multiple women.
I didn't know. Okay, AUKUS is a trial advance for AI in military operations. Now, this you're talking about something that'll freak you out, y'all. This right here is going to freak you out.
Don't forget about his the truck.
Oh yeah, well that's part of Tesla. Yeah. So that's the Tesla truck.
Tesla truck.
And by the way, I've seen many videos of the Tesla truck having to be pulled out by a F-150 or a Silverado.
Loving that.
So this is about what's happening in our military as well. And I want to just scroll down here to hit this real quick. I want to see if I got this video. Yeah, here's the video. Let's see if I can. I think I need to zoom this back out in order for it to work right. All right, let's see if we can watch this.
The Thurs trial is to help us understand the capability of robotic and autonomous systems to operate in a contested environment. The enemy will always get a vote. We always need to understand how robust these systems are to operate when potentially effects being brought to bear on them.
Any future conflict is going to have environments which are contested, GPS may be denied, communications may be denied. What we're seeing here are efforts to understand any vulnerabilities in current autonomy technologies, identify those gaps, and then have the three nations work together to address those gaps to make our systems resilient.
Science and technology tell us are going to be an absolute game changer and give us operational advantage. The ability to deploy different payloads across a larger battle space will give commanders options. And clearly it's a robot, so I can send that places where I wouldn't necessarily want to send a soldier. We are pushing the boundaries of where S&T is taking us as we experiment with these autonomous systems.
We have worked beautifully with the UK and our US partners under the AUKUS banner.
We've seen a brilliant example of collaboration between three different nations. It's a good example where each nation has brought their own kind of benefits to this exercise. So UK, US bringing their own autonomous platforms, and Australia providing the counter effects.
Now the thing I want to point out here is these are actual military weapons that they're sending out there instead of human beings. So they're already plotting, Sandy, as we get ready for World War III exploding, all these wars going on, right. We're being told that our jobs are being taken by AI here. Now our military is going to be fought by AI. And it's all being spun in such a great thing. I can send them into harm's way where I could not send a soldier, and we just clap at that. But what nobody's talking about is if AI is going into battle and we're running all these algorithms with AI back at the, in the strategy side of it, what happens when AI takes over the war? Because now AI is not only constructing the battle plan, running the scenarios of what would happen if we done this. They can run 1 million scenarios in the time that it would take a human being a lifetime to run.
Yes.
And then they somehow hack and control the AI controllable military. That's how we get Terminator.
Wow. It's a pretty scary world, but they pretty much told us that's where this is all going. Yeah. And we've already seen some evidences that didn't turn out so well in that one instance. So
yeah, and remember in the Terminator movie when was his name Connor?
John Connor.
John Connor is talking to her in the car.
Oh, you talking about that little short you made the other day?
Yes, I made a little short, and he says in the movie, he's talking about all this war technology and how the machines take over.
And she says, "We can't do that."
Yeah, she goes, "You think I'm stupid? We can't do that. That's impossible." And he says, "Not yet.
Know where I come from.
But we will be able to in 40 years." Do you know what 40 years is from the time that movie came out and the time that it was setting in? She said it in 1984. He said it to her in 1984. Does anybody want to do the math?
Let that sink in.
He said, "Not yet. That's not possible now, but it will be possible in 40 years." Yeah. We're here. We're there. We're 40 years.
Also that movie where the humans were crawling around and scampering around underground like rats.
Yep. Underneath all the rubble and everything, hiding from the machines flying over,
right, surveilling
everyone.
I thought that was a great observation, you throwing that little short together. And, I haven't heard anybody else make a reference like that.
I mean, it's a little chilling.
Not even Zach. Hadn't even heard him say that. So
I mean, that's chilling. That's chilling when you think about it. I mean, it's a movie, but hey, what have we learned about movies lately?
Predictive programming, eh?
Yeah. So I got one more thing I want to show you guys. Don't leave because believe it or not, we're 2 hours right now. Can you believe that? Yep, 2 hours. So listen, don't go anywhere. Let me just remind you one more time, go to LarryRagland.com, partner with us, get a chance to get our book. We would appreciate that greatly.
Please, we got to build some studios up in here.
We got to build it. We're building a couple of different studios. We got some ideas of some new things we're going to do with our show in addition to what we're doing right now.
Got to upgrade some systems.
And you can see the greatness movement. We got all our Wake Not Woke shirts and all that. Many of you've got the hats, the shirts, the T-shirts. All of that's there. Walk around with, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake on your T-shirt. And they'll be like, what's that about? You say, well, you need to watch the big picture. Okay. So the final thing I want to show you is most of you, I say most of you, some of you, I guess most of you probably are not aware. You might have heard of this new technology that Apple's coming out with, but you might not be aware of the fact that it went to the public this week. The Apple Vision Pro. Now, remember for those that's been with us since the beginning, you remember one of our shows that we did where we compared the Apple Vision Pro to that movie Ready Player One, and how the goggles looked almost identical. And it was all about the life of this dystopian life where everything, you own nothing, you be happy, everything's been blown up by nuclear wars or whatever, and you're living in this little tiny hole, but you've got those goggles, and you put those goggles on, and you become something else that you can never become in the natural.
Leave your reality behind, at least temporarily.
Well, life is what is
imitating art.
Imitating art. Here it is. Apple Vision Pro came out this week and has turned the real world into a Black Mirror episode overnight. Now, I know many of you watch Black Mirror. I don't know. I know about it. We don't watch it.
I think I've seen one episode. I haven't
watched
do that. But.
It says you too can live in a new tech dystopia for the low price of $3,499 plus $199 for a battery pack.
Okay.
That's pretty expensive. But what I want to show you is this is what people are already doing. The Vision Pro, Apple's new VR and mixed reality headset, generated a wealth of dystopian images as online influencers, took the premium device out for a spin in the real world after its launch on Friday. Here are just a few examples of some people that took it. Now, I want to show you this first one. This guy is so proud of himself. This is now how he sits in his house and watches sports.
Hey guys, just want to show you real quick how I enjoy my breakfast with the Apple Vision Pro. As you can see here, I'm watching 33 different NBA games at the exact same time, just covering my entire wall. In case I'm not getting enough dopamine hits over here, I can look over here and I got X. I can scroll X and I can like posts. As you see, it's very easy to scroll X on the Apple Vision Pro over here.
Now, did you notice when he's doing this? With his hand, there's a hand that comes up on the screen. So there's nothing on it. You just put the goggles on and you start doing this with your hands. This is stuff of movies. You start doing this, you start doing it. There's nothing in your hands. And the goggles know what you mean and does it on the screen.
Here I'm looking at my different scores. I'm checking out how much money I'm making off fantasy, off sports betting. So if I'm not getting enough dopamine here, I'm not getting enough dopamine here. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Greg posting over here. I can get some more dopamine over here. And this is how I eat a bacon, egg, and cheese with ketchup and hot sauce. On my Apple Vision Pro there. So while you're watching YouTube while you eat on a tiny little iPhone 3GS, I'm here watching 100 different things at the same time. So enjoy your breakfast. Happy Saturday morning, everyone. We'll talk soon.
Well, I guess his bathroom trips just got even more interesting.
True.
He doesn't have to sit there and just read those boring old emails or
look at this.
Scroll through one thing.
Somebody just went out to dinner and looked over at another table. And that's what he found. Two guys over there eating their meal, looking at their meal through the goggles, and in a dystopian world.
Good catch on the 33, guys. Very interesting.
Wait a minute, but you ain't seen the best one yet. Here's the best one.
Okay.
This guy decided, I'm just going to drive my Tesla down the road and see the whole world in my car with goggles. Car's driving itself.
And he's apparently typing something.
He's typing something while he's scrolling through social media while his car's driving. And then guess what happens? He gets pulled over by the cops.
He's not going to bother to take his goggles off?
No, he just, watch this, what he does. He just looks at the camera and says, okay, I'm busted.
Yeah.
So apparently somebody must have saw him and called and said, hey, there's a guy playing with his phone. He's got some weird sunglasses on while he's driving. So we're in a world now, Sandy, where you can get a car like a Tesla. You can say, take me to McDonald's. And the car just starts driving by itself.
I'm going to catch up on some emails.
But no, you're in Hawaii. You're surfing.
Oh, you're surfing.
You're surfing. You're fighting a battle against the enemies while you're going down the road. And then you read some emails, then you scroll through your Facebook. All while you're driving down the road.
Why not?
Yeah.
So, alguna vez te has preguntado cómo sería una cena con unas Vision Pro. Bueno, te cuento un poco.
Look, it's a whole family.
¿Y qué luna es la que se ve desde la luna?
This is our future.
Hola, chavales. Chichi.
The new dinner table.
Miraros todos a los ojos.
So that is the world that you have to look forward to. That is the big picture that we try to tell you every week.
Put a whole new slant on dating, right?
Oh, my goodness. Boy, you said a mouthful
That'd be
there.
interesting.
Hey, what if you could hack the other guy's goggles and make yourself look better? He's looking at you. She's looking at you. And all of a sudden you can tell, you don't like something about me. Ooh, quick. Blue eyes. Oh. Because you know what? There's going to be a world where it's not going to be long that people are not going to want to take these off and see the real world.
Oh, no.
They're going to believe everything they see here.
Reality will be such a letdown.
It'll be such a letdown. Hey, we're laughing, but you know what? That's the truth.
They're going to need those pills that they had in Brave New World. That's all there is to it.
What you're talking about. But, all right, so listen, everybody. It's another one in the bag. The big picture has changed your life again. And we got to go do a cleansing prayer. Give me that oil bottle.
Seriously.
We're gonna anoint with this oil bottle.
We're permanently leaving that one in this room.
Look, it's green.
My goodness. Did you Uncle Jimmy that oil?
Jimmy that oil. Look, it's supernatural oil.
It's a supernatural oil.
It really is supernatural oil. Which, by the way, before we go, did what's his name? Roscoe? What's his name? Costo? What's his name?
You mean the little cousin?
My little cousin. Where's the little cousin?
This guy!
Look, he's invisible. He travels across dimensions
He's
from one
little
camera.
Cosmo. He's so cute.
Bring him over to the other dimension. Bring him over to my dimension.
No, he's staying with me.
I want to come to my dimension. Come on.
Okay.
God. Oh, look.
Ruin everything. Come back to me, cousin.
Take a deep breath. Everything's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right.
Tell somebody.
All right.
Look at your neighbor. That's what the preachers say. Tell somebody in your family. It's going to be okay because we ain't woke.
No.
But we are certainly
awake.
Good night, everybody. Love you.
Good night.